Subcommittee on Appropriations, State and Local Government. We'll call that to order this morning. Thank you all for being here bright and early. They did not give me a choice on the time, or I would have fought for a later time, but thank you all for showing up. First on the agenda to get things rolling, the Department of Audits and Accounts. If y'all would come forward.
Okay, there we go. All right, good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm Greg Griffin, the state auditor, and appreciate the opportunity to present our amended fiscal year budget request. I should be brief this morning. We've got two statewide common changes, and then I have two discussion items that I want to bring to your attention. So if it is okay, I will sort of skip over the statewide common adjustments. If you need details, I can provide that. The other two items are first, although not reflected in our tracking sheet, we are requesting that the Senate remove the $236,000 item on line 8.1 related to our data analytics subscription costs. That remain in the House version of the budget. After further review, those funds are not needed in FY26 as we have sufficient one-time carryover funds available to cover those costs. The recurring subscription costs for our data analytics program will be addressed in our FY27 budget request. The second item to bring to your attention is the House included language on line 8.4 indicating its intent for the department to utilize existing resources and assume responsibility for public school system audits over a 3-year period consistent with our statutory responsibilities. So I interpret that to mean that they want us to increase our audit coverage on the public school systems. As we have had conversations recently, the House has requested that we provide what the costs would look like over a 3-year transition period to increase our audit coverage starting in FY27. That's why there are $0 in the FY amended 26. So the department currently audits about 2/3 of the public school systems, and we actually support the goal of expanding the coverage for the remaining systems. Because doing so is going to require additional audit staff, we have recommended a phased-in 3-year transition approach to ensure we maintain our audit quality and timeliness. And so that's it. Those are our two items, Mr. Chairman. Those are all the items that fully account for the changes in our departmental budget. Glad to take any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Okay. And I wanted to ask, how many school districts are using the third-party audit?
We currently do not audit about 50 of the public school systems.
Okay. And this ramp up over the 3-year period starting next year would
bring those 50 back in over time, depending on funding levels. Yes, yes, sir.
And as far as like risky schools, do y'all have a number?
So, yes, sir. The plan would be to bring back the more risky schools in year one. There's currently some legislation making its way through. I think the intent is for the audit department to audit the moderate and high-risk school districts. There are about 12 of those that we do not currently audit. So we would hope and expect that we would bring those back first in FY27.
And what would put them in that category? Is it the company they're using or the?
Not the company. There's several factors. the extent to which they have findings in their audit reports, if they are behind in their audits, there's a couple other factors that would make them moderate or high risk.
Thank you. Senator Hupstetler?
Yeah, and thanks for being here, and thanks for all the work you do for the Finance Committee. I know we've given Matt Taylor a lot of extra work lately over there, and he's up to the task. On these schools, the last time I looked on your website, it seemed like there were 14 that didn't, and 24 that didn't have their audit in, and maybe 6 and 23. I mean, and I know a lot of this is coming from the Dublin school system, and you're not the guy to enforce that. You report the numbers, but I mean, whose job is that to make sure? I mean, audits from 23 that school systems don't have in yet?
I would say that currently there's very little consequences for school boards that don't produce and get their audits done timely. We can't make them and force them. We audit when they are ready, and as you will note in the proposed legislation that's floating around, we have incorporated language to define what audit readiness is, and that the school boards need to be audit ready, and that if they are not, and they're pervasive in, again, not being ready for audit, that could turn into a potential finding.
Yeah, we've certainly got to get some enforcement going, and again, I know that's not your job, but somebody has let us way down on this, and I was a local official for 8 years, and I just cannot imagine not having my audit in. I mean, but again, thanks for all your work.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much for being here. Does that apply for the municipalities and the counties? Because I did not know that one of the cities had a problem until I got a call last year. And I called to see what the problem, they said they were working on it. And then when I understood about one of the counties, theirs was late for 23, 24 or something like that. And I'm trying to figure out what's the problem here.
So we audit the local public school systems by statute. We do not audit cities and counties. Cities and counties do report to us that when they complete their audits, and we have a dashboard that we actually determine compliance, and we have a dashboard that's up on our website. So currently, there are, at last count, 2 counties that are behind in turning in their financial audits, and about over 150 somewhere around their cities that are delinquent in turning in their annual audits. And all that information is on a real-time dashboard on our website. Be glad I can follow up with you on the specific cities or counties that are behind, and how many audit years they're behind, and perhaps the reasons they're behind. But we do not audit them. We audit their compliance. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much
All right.
for your testimony.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got the Department of Banking and Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bo Fears, Commissioner of the Department of Banking and Finance, and I appreciate the opportunity to present before the committee. If it pleases the committee, I will just address those items that are specific to the department. Starting on line 59.2 on page 20, there is a proposed funding for 2 additional positions for our merchant acquirer limited purpose bank examiners. That is a novel charter that we have in Georgia. It is the only state that has it. And that we've had tremendous amount of success with that. And what that does is it permits payment processors to have direct access to the card networks, be it Visa or MasterCard, without having to go through a bank sponsor. Fiserv has been granted a charter. It's running transactions. We have approved the charter for Stripe and Checkout.com, and we have another application from a very large payment processor that we are currently working. Those charters are bringing businesses to Georgia. As part of the law, you are required to be located in Georgia and have at least 50 employees. So Stripe and Checkout.com did not have a presence in the state. And because of that, they now have a presence in the state and are satisfying that employment requirement. These examiners will help us conduct exams of these entities. Just to give you an idea of their size, Fiserv in 2024 processed $1.9 trillion worth of transactions in the United States alone, second largest behind J.P. Morgan Chase. Stripe processed 600 billion, I apologize, more than Bank of America. So, these are very significant numbers. The other two items that we have are IT related. On page 19, line 58.2, it is a new data backup solution for the department. Our data backup solution is outdated and antiquated, and when we run tests on our backups, they typically fail. Assuming that we had a clean backup, it would take us anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to restore our systems. The new proposal that we're looking at kind of is a hybrid solution that is on premises as well as cloud-based. It'll be running routine backups during the day, periodic backups. In the event we were to have an event, we think that it would take us less than 4 hours to have all material systems back online, and data lossage would be less than 4 hours. The final item is item 58.3 on page 20, which is increased funds for automated software. The vast majority of information in the department's possession is confidential, and so the AI solution that we would need to seek would be very limited to the department and kind of maintain our data lake. And so we can't use those AI solutions that learn off of the data, such as ChatGPT. This will help us automate some of our processes and produce reports, both internal and external, as well as generate reports, as well as conduct more efficient data searches. This is, the goal is this is sort of the first step in maybe a bigger AI solution where we can maybe automate some of our more routine examinations that have really low impact, a low risk to consumers. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the committee may have.
Any questions or comments from the committee? You drew no questions. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Next up, we got the State Accounting Office.
Good morning, Chairman Dixon, members of the committee. I will skip over our statewide adjustments and point you to page 7 of your tracking document. Item 33.1, the governor's recommendation is to provide one-time funds to continue TeamWorks ERP support for the Georgia Department of Transportation due to the extension of the agency's Georgia at Work implementation timeline, $10,379,589. And these funds will support keeping TeamWorks up for GDOT. I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. My name is Geralda Hines, and I'm the State Accounting Officer. We have been working on the Georgia at Work system implementation, which we will be moving from our 25-plus year TeamWorks system that supports our HR, finance, and procurement system. And due to we have shifted our timeline from April 1st of 2026 to July 1st of 2026. We are on target for July 1st, but due to the complexity and some of the unique customizations that GDOT has, we have decided to separate them from the go-live date, and they'll be going live separately. They're working closely with our project team to go live at a later date. But that's what that $10.3 million is for, to maintain that system, TeamWorks.
So I need to give Senator Dolezal, let him give transportation grief about not hurrying up.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
yes, please. No.
Just kidding.
And that's all I have.
Any questions? Would other agencies have access to the TeamWorks?
Yes, we have over 200 agencies that's on the system, of about 78,000 employees that's going to be transferring in addition to the legislators to the new system. Yes,
Big one. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Next up is State Ethics Commission.
I think y'all need to ask Commissioner King as many questions as possible, and maybe hold him till last. Just a thought. David Amati, Director of State Ethics Commission. Thank you for having us here, Mr. Chairman. I come with no heavy lift for once. So our amended state budget reflects the governor's one-time employee salary bonus, which my people are very grateful for, and a reduction in some of our premiums to DOAS. Other than that, our amended is flat. We'll see about the big budget in a few weeks when we come back, but I'm happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
Just work on trying to make your presentation shorter.
Okay,
No, I'm kidding.
okay.
A little less complicated.
I'll take that into consideration.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Your new system, of
Yeah.
course, as of, midnight last night, all those disclosures were due in. I hope everybody got theirs in. Has that gone well for you?
We've been very happy, which it's been a big improvement over where we were with the old system. Candidly, that is a low bar to clear, I'm aware. But the feedback we've gotten from whether it's legislators or local filers, lobbyists, has been very positive, Senator.
Good.
Commissioner King's been complaining about it, but I don't really trust him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've got the, next up, Georgia State Board of Accounting.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. Not much to ask for here, except an increase in funds for a licensure database migration and conversion. We were hoping to have a new system in place for our current renewal period, but that didn't happen. So last year, we were given a notice from our current vendor that our system's end of life was June 30th, 2027. So it kind of brought this to the head that we do need to get the new licensing system put in so that we're ready for our next renewal to have a licensing database that's good for our licensees and for the public.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
We've got a recurring thing on this in the budget, but is it the thing where they just say they're no longer going to provide service for it, or?
Right. They are mothballing it.
Yeah, so I know somebody needs to be working on that in some new contracts where they don't just cut you off and say, hey, we're done with this, you got to figure something else out, but
Yeah.
that's above your level and mine, so,
Right. I think
Yeah.
since it was 30 years old, they decided they could do that.
yeah, we've got just so much in this budget of that this year. Thank you.
And did you mention the timeline of?
It would typically take about 8 months is what they were estimating for the migration. We have over 50,000 records that need to be migrated to the new system.
How'd the procurement process, how did that go?
Pretty smoothly.
Good deal. Thank you. Any further comments, questions? Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Next up is Department of Administrative Services.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Rebecca Sullivan. I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Administrative Services. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today regarding the budget recommendations for the amended FY26 for DOAS. The DOAS budget information is reflected in Section 12, pages 10 through 19 of the tracking document. There are a few changes that I'll speak to, only one of which relates to DOAS's budget. Starting on page 11, the governor's recommended the increase in funding to provide the one-time $2,000 salary supplement for full-time regular state employees in several of our programs, and including our attached agencies. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to the governor, his team, as well as the General Assembly for supporting and funding this one-time supplemental pay for state employees. The remaining changes relate to funding for our attached programs. As DOAS provides administrative support to these programs, the funds will be passed through to them accordingly. Section 45 relates to the Wrongful Conviction Compensation Trust Fund, which was created by Senate Bill 244 last year and creates a new framework for consideration and payment of claims of wrongful conviction. Section 45.1, the governor's recommended an appropriation of $4.8 million to establish that trust fund, which will be managed by the Office of the State Treasurer. This recommended amount was based on 7 cases that had advanced through the preliminary hearing process last fall. As of February 2nd of this year, 3 decisions have been issued granting compensatory or attorney's fees, and compensation or attorney's fees, and there are 13 pending claims. Because this is the first year of the program, the recommendation is to seed the trust fund in the amended budget until we can assess a more normalized amount that will be necessary year over year. Section 45.2 also relates to that program, provides $200,000 in state funds to support the Office of State Administrative Hearings for the hearing and adjudication of those claims. These funds will be used to cover OSA invoices associated with hearing those claims. And Section 45.998, this section just reflects a change in the name of the program to align with the new law. Then in Section 46, I'll speak briefly to the Georgia Tax Tribunal. Judge O'Neill was not able to join us today, but there's just one small change in his budget. That's Section 45.2, and that provides an increase of $61,594 in state funds for annual leave payouts associated with the elimination of the Georgia Tax Tribunal. The tribunal will be closed out in the FY27 Appropriations Act. And then Section 47 is 47.2 is a common change across all agencies for OSA, and that has a neutral impact. We fully support all of the governor's recommendations. Thank you to this committee for your continued support of the agency, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding DOAS programs. Additionally, representatives from the Office of State Administrative Hearings are here should the committee have any questions for them that I'm unable to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One quick question, if I could. The tax tribunal, what was that, 4 or 5 years ago that started, or do you remember?
It's been several years now.
Time gets away from us.
It has constitutional amendment and the law passed creating that tax tribunal. And
Yeah.
Judge O'Connell is with us today,
Yeah.
and will be taking over that tax court.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for the numbers on the claims and then the ones that have been awarded on the wrongful conviction.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any numbers on any of them been denied?
I believe that 21 claims have been denied up to this point.
And then once somebody's awarded a claim, what's the process of distribution?
So once an initial decision is entered, no payment is issued until a final judgment is entered, and that's past any appeal process. At that point, once a final judgment has been entered, OSA will coordinate with the Office of State Treasurer, and we will issue the payment on the treasurer's behalf.
I know this is a loaded question, 'cause I'm sure it's could vary, but time frame typically on these type, I guess it depends on appeals, and that may be too much of a loaded question to ask.
This might be a good opportunity to call up the Office of State Administrative Hearings that will be able to speak better to the adjudication of those claims.
You got a question? Oh, yeah, go ahead, Senator.
So,
What number?
Mr. Chair, you said 21 have been denied. In what time frame? A year, 2 years?
Do you want to take that question? Oh, I'm sorry. 21 claims have been denied. This law was just passed last year, so it has gone into effect, I believe, July 1 of this year.
Yes, that's correct. And good morning. My name is Lisa Boggs. I'm the Deputy Chief Judge with the Office of State Administrative Hearings. SB 244 went into effect July 1st, so that is the first date we began to have.
July 1st, 2025.
2025, I'm sorry.
So I'm asking, what is the time frame with the 21 denial? So since July 21, July 1, 2025 until now, it's been the 21, it's number 21 comes from?
It's been, yes, roughly
Okay.
21 to 28, yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any further questions on that? As far as, what's the math on how it's equated on what a claim would be valued at? I'm assuming it's time behind bars or served or whatnot?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. It's stated in the Wrongful Conviction and Incarceration Act. It starts for every year of wrongful incarceration. It's a certain amount of money. It's roughly around $75,000, and it will increase every year pursuant to an inflation rate. There's also an additional $25,000 or so if that person was on death row. And then in addition to that, the claimant can seek reasonable attorney's fees or other expenses for any work that was done to have them exonerated, or in addition, also during the process of getting this compensation.
And I'd seen some documents or received some on a denial, but it was claiming that attorney would still receive funds. Would that be correct? Or if a denial happens, there's no funds dispersed?
So if there's a full denial, then essentially there's no judgment that would be issued to disperse funds. If there's any granted claim, it would be either for compensation, attorney's fees, or a combination of them.
Okay, so if it was a straight denial, there wouldn't be anything for claims for attorneys or anything like that? It would only be if it was a...
So it would really depend on what the judge determined, but typically if there is all the 21 to 28 claims that have been denied fully.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any further comments or questions? And then one last question. As an administrative court, do you feel like you've got the authority or the tools to make these claims or deny them?
Oh,
Feel
yes,
like y'all
sir. We fortunately were able to ramp up pretty quickly. All our judges have been trained in order to hold these adjudications. We also have a very strong group of staff attorneys to assist us with these cases. So it has been pretty smooth sailing so far.
Thank you. I don't believe there's any further comments or questions. Thank you for your testimony.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
And
much.
then in your presentation, did you have anything further, or was it just on what we just discussed?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, as far as 47.1 and 47.2, those are just the changes that apply statewide as far as the salary supplement, which we're very grateful for your support and for the governor's office support, in addition to the reduction of the employer contribution rate. Otherwise, there is nothing from us on that end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Georgia Technology Authority.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's sit down. Good morning, Chairman Dixon and the committee. My name is Shanzia Thomas, and I serve as your state CIO and Executive Director for the Georgia Technology Authority. With me today, I have my CISO, which is Steve Hodges, and my CFO, Kevin Stanford. GTA serves the state of Georgia by delivering secure, reliable, and cost-effective technology services, strengthening statewide cybersecurity, overseeing major IT investments, and supporting agencies as they modernize how we serve Georgians. I want to thank Governor Kemp and Director Rick Dunn for their support and investments in the work that we do at GTA. You will find GTA's budget request on page 19 of your document. Starting with line 49.1, you will see a request for $7.5 million to increase funds to continue the statewide enhancement and standardization of cybersecurity services throughout the executive branch agencies. These funds support a one-time investment to continue strengthening cybersecurity across the executive branch agencies. These investments includes enhanced threat detections, expand monitoring capabilities, improving incident response, and tools that help agencies better protect citizens and state data. These efforts reduce enterprise risk, improve resiliency, and help prevent costly disruptions to government services. The House reduced our request to $5 million. We respectfully asked the committee and the Senate to restore the $2.5 million that was removed. GTA already invests millions annually in cybersecurity, and these funds are essential to closing priority gaps we cannot fully fund through existing resources. Next on line 49.2, you will see a request for $35 million to increase funds for the Department of Community Health IES system, the Integrated Eligibility System modernization. This request represents the remaining portion of the funds that DCH and DHS requested last session. $35 million was appropriated in AFY 2025. The current request completes the original funding plan and supports the continued delivery of this critical system. And again, that's the Integrated Eligibility System that houses SNAP, TANF, Medicaid. Last, on line 49.3, you will see a request to utilize existing revenue from the Technology Empowerment Fund for 3 projects. $7.5 million will be used for the ERP modernization timeline expansion. $430,000 will be used to address additional costs associated with the State Ethics Commission system replacement. The original project scope did not anticipate subsequent statutory changes requiring new system functionality, nor the requirement to retain the legacy data, the 10-year legacy data. These factors resulted in unplanned but necessary enhancements to remain compliant with the state, with state law. The House added a third project asking GTA to assist the Georgia Department of Labor implement a call center technology enhancement. This project is about $700,000. So that includes everything on our document for GTA's requests. I want to thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. I look forward to working with you all. And if you have any questions, we're here to answer those questions right now.
Did the House give any kind of explanation for the reduction of the $2.5 million?
No, I have not heard anything about that yet.
Okay.
About why they reduced that 2.5.
Go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. You know, y'all's department sort of gets spread over a lot of different departments.
Yes, sir.
So it's kind of hard to follow. What does all of that add up to? If you took all the departments, the technology cost for the state of Georgia, what would that number be?
All the technology costs that
In other words-
the services that we provide?
Right, you charge all these agencies money. What does that total up to?
Yeah, that number.
About 190 million annually.
Okay. And that doesn't include the other requests in here, I don't guess?
No, it does not.
Okay. So is the 190 million, now you've got a payment on here to GTA of 57 million. We've got the $7.5 or $5 million request and the 35 million and then the 15 million of state funds, I guess. So all that would add up to the
To the
total
57
number.
million, yes, sir.
Okay. It's hard to follow because it's all spread out
Right.
everywhere. You guys do a good job with that, so.
Thank you.
All right, no further questions.
Senator Halpern?
Just also a compliment on the work that you're doing, and especially around the cybersecurity. I know that it is not always easy to corral every disparate department throughout the state and try to make sure that every department is protective of the data that you're collecting for those of us who are Georgians and those departments themselves to keep them safe. So you kind of hit already on what I was going to ask, but just to thank you for that work, because I know how critically important it is, and you guys are always trying to make sure that we don't get caught up in bad phishing things as well as legislators also.
Thank you.
Looks like the House might not be as concerned about that.
I don't know why, because it is like one of the
We're
most
concerned about it.
clear and
I know
present
you are.
dangers of any.
And I did hear you
government.
state you don't have funds, additional funds to make up that shortfall.
Well, we have, in the request, we initially asked for 15 million additional, but GTA will be putting 7.5 million of our funds towards this as well. So
Okay.
we do have additional funds, 7.5,
But you're needing the total 15
Yes.
million to, right.
yes.
Any further comments or questions? Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Office of the Commissioner of Insurance. You've been getting, some comments were made about you earlier, so feel free to fire back.
I can always get some love from the ethics, my teammates at ethics, sir, but somebody has to give them some love, sir, so I get it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, members of this committee. I appreciate the opportunity to come in and talk to you all a little bit about our amended 2026 budget ask, and also talk a little bit about the priorities which are influencing this ask. You know, the support that you all have given us has been essential in the tremendous amount of growth that our agency has received in the last few years. We are more effective, more responsive, and transparent than ever before. And we could not have done this without the trust and confidence you have placed on us. If you go to the first slide, our Safety Fire Division is responsible for adopting rules, regulations, and standards to protect Georgians and their property from fire, create safer buildings, and educate the public about fire safety. With the General Assembly support, we have been able to expand our capabilities a great deal. Today, our arson investigators can be anywhere in the state of Georgia within 90 minutes with a K-9 to support local communities in the investigation of suspicious fires. We have also increased the number of fire safety educators that we employ. Our educators travel across the state, provide critical education resources to firefighters, schools, homeowners, and caregivers. With Georgia being the #1 state to do business, our state has been flooded with new construction. And anytime there's new construction, like a new wing of a hospital, an additional renovation of a church, a new stadium or public facility, our team is there to ensure the safety of its occupants. with the reopening of the Rivian plant. For example, our office has taken steps to have personnel there at all times to ensure the production can ramp up to full speed as soon as possible, and ensuring continued investment in our great state. We're continuing to actively recruit, train, and retain boiler and elevator, amusement, and manufactured housing inspectors who are critical to the safe operation in our state. When I first took office in 2019, only 40% of the elevator inspections were completed across the state. This year, we are projected to reach a little bit over 90% of completion rate. A lot of it has to do with the budget approvals that you all gave us to hire those critical inspectors. Last year, this body provided us funding for 45 additional positions in our Safety Fire Division, which is critical to the achievement, paving the way to a stronger and safer Georgia. Our Safety Fire Division is truly OCI as a whole. It's up for this big year for the FIFA World Cup coming to Atlanta. There will be a total of 8 matches being played during June and July. We're working closely with FIFA, the World Congress Center, the City of Atlanta on preparing well in advance for this truly massive event. When we hosted the Olympics back in 1996, nearly 2 million spectators, participants, and others traveled to our city to witness these events. Recently, FIFA has seen millions of visitors from across the globe travel to see these matches. Current projections estimate that anywhere between 5 and 6 million people around the world will be traveling to the United States to watch these games and participate in fan events. As a result, our team has been all hands on deck to make sure that we're prepared for these visitors, engaged with our state, and to make sure that we can do it safely. In support of this responsibility, our office will enforce all applicable provisions of the Georgia State Life Safety Code, along with all relevant state-adopted fire, building, and safety code standards. This includes comprehensive plan review, permitting, and on-site inspection of activities to verify compliance with requirements over occupant safety, fire protection systems, means of safe egress, crowd management, emergency preparedness, and active crowd and facility monitoring during these events. Law enforcement officers from our office will provide support with inspection operations, regulatory enforcement, and active crowd monitoring through these events. Their presence will enhance situational awareness, support compliance efforts, and contribute to maintaining a safe environment for all attendees. Additionally, the office will conduct inspections and regulatory oversight of all escalators, elevators, and other conveyance systems within stadiums, fan zones, and supporting facilities. This includes ensuring that all these systems are properly certified, maintained, and operated in accordance with Georgia law and applicable safety standards. Let me shift slightly now to our reinsurance program. Georgia Reinsurance Program provides the financial support to health insurers, helping cover the cost of enrollees with high medical expenses without passing the burden on to consumers in the form of higher premiums. The goal of reinsurance was to reduce consumer premiums and increase affordability of health care and make Georgia an attractive market of health carriers. If you can see in the graphic, since 2018, the number of health insurance carriers in Georgia has more than doubled. We now have 10 health insurance companies in our state, giving Georgians more control over their health care than ever before and allowing free market principles to drive the cost to the average Georgian. The average premiums have decreased 12.4% in our rural areas of our state, seeing up in a 12% average across the state, with our rural areas seeing up to 30% premium savings. Now let me shift to Georgia Access. Last year, Georgia Access launched our state's official health insurance marketplace. As you have already heard, our platform has overperformed nearly better than any other exchange, including the federal government. First of its kind, Georgia partners directly with enhanced and direct enrollment entities to sign up consumers for health coverage. EDEs, as we call them, are web brokers that offer enrollment in all available plans across insurance companies or an insurance company that offers enrollment into their own plans. This year, over 1.3 million Georgians signed up for health insurance coverage. Over 191,000 of these consumers did not previously have coverage on an exchange. And during open enrollment, our call center answered approximately 433,000 calls, averaging over 5,000 calls daily. 70% of those consumers utilize an enhanced direct enrollment entity, and 80% receive direct assistance from an agent when choosing their plan. In a year where consumers saw a lot of challenges in healthcare landscape, I'm proud that our team and our state for helping. I'm thankful for our team to make sure that our consumers were guided each step of the way to make sure they could enroll in coverage. And now to the meat of this committee's interest. I would like to discuss our agency's budget request before opening up any questions you may have. First, we are not requesting any changes to the amended fiscal year 2026 budget. For amended fiscal year 2026, we only have two major items to report. First, we're giving back state funds in two programs, nearly $2.6 million for administration and $582,000 for enforcement, for a total return to the state over $3 million. This return of state funds is a result of increased other funds that you will see in our insurance regulatory program. We also ask for your continued support for the reinsurance program in an amount of $120 million. User fees continue to support reinsurance with $82 million going to this program. Claims have increased from prior years for about 43% as medical expenses increase. And of course, we support the one-time support for our state employees that you all have heard many of the other. And with that, Mr. Chairman and members of this committee, I would like to open it up for any questions you may have.
Go ahead, Senator.
Great to have you here, and you must be doing something right, because unlike a couple of your predecessors, you haven't gone to jail, so at a minimum.
I'm married to a policewoman, so the deterrent is pretty clear, sir.
Yes, sir, but I will say, yeah.
But I'm more scared of my bride being a police officer and investigator.
You know, and I work in healthcare, and you know, in my opinion, Washington has got a lot of work to do on healthcare, and
Yes, sir.
we've got problems in the state. But I will say that your reinsurance program and your exchange that hooks people up with insurance have been probably two of the best successes I've seen in healthcare, and we really appreciate your work on doing that. The money that you're returning, we've got the $5 fee now. Is that how much of that return of roughly $3 million is due to that $5 fee? Do you have any idea? Or? All of it. Okay, well, that's easy to answer then. Okay, as you know, we've had tort reform, but in my opinion, we still need some insurance reform. So any suggestions you've got, we bring them forward.
We have a number of recommendations that we're working with members of both chambers to improve the accountability. One of them being increasing the authority that I have to increase the fines of insurance companies that break the rules.
Yeah, well, I'll support you 100% on that. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that forward.
Thank you.
That legislation.
And I will tell you, sir, let me just add one thing. Washington has failed miserably at this. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate the courage that the state of Georgia's taken in taking control out of Washington, bringing it back to Georgia, where we all are accountable. Everybody in this room, we're accountable whether a program fails or succeeds. And because we can't kick the can, we can't take 40 days off and nonsense like that. So I appreciate the courage that this state has had in taking control over our destiny.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner, I'm really concerned about the increase in insurance, all the insurance. I know every time you see me, I complain about high insurance rates. And you always say that if we find persons who are breaking the rules, then you will send investigators out. And I'm just trying to see, do you have enough people to do these investigations? How much money you're saying that you're giving money back? And I see, I guess it's coming from different places, that you're replacing that. But do you have any vacancies in your department? Do you have enough people to go out and investigate these companies? Insurance goes up. And I had people call me, I guess they just wanted to vent last night when they got that little thing from insurance, when they got the insurance bill. But if it's not house insurance, it's auto insurance, it's everything that's going up, and I can't tell them that everything is all right because I feel the same pain. You know, it's about affordability here. So I'm saying, do you have enough people to do that? And when we talk about safety, because the World Cup, everything is coming. These buildings, when we walk in some of these buildings downtown, I'm trying to see, I look on there to see when it was inspected and all that. These elevators are out 2 and 3 weeks, and I said, this is crazy. So do you have enough money? Do you have enough people to take care of this?
Ma'am, the concern that I've had is that because we have the FIFA event, I'm cognizant of making sure that we're redirecting, we're doing a lot of the pre-inspections today to make sure that we can surge for this event.
Okay.
I have sufficient people at this point, but that doesn't mean that if things change, especially in the landscape with insurance, I can't find a single person in Georgia that's happy about their insurance, including myself. I believe me, this is acquired as the church is full of people that are not pleased. There's a lot of factors that contribute to this. One of the factors is fraud. Fraud. We're number 3 in the nation for insurance fraud, and my biggest challenge today is the ability of district attorneys, especially Metro Atlanta district attorneys, prosecuting insurance fraud.
Okay.
The challenge that I have today is that we have a segment of our society that don't think that insurance fraud is a crime. They think it's just, well, there's a big bad insurance company out. You know, if I have to cheat to get you know, a little extra, it's okay. And so we're going to have to work really hard, all of us, on educating that the people who are suffering as a result of insurance fraud is every Georgian, because we all end up paying additional costs on our premiums because of fraud. I'm working closely with the district attorneys to give them support so they can prosecute, actually assigning some of our lawyers who are experts on insurance investigations to help local district attorneys prosecute these cases, to try to turn the tide. But it's been a tough, Metro Atlanta, I mean, they're all, and it'd be easy for me to blame district attorney's office. As a former police chief, I have to offer a solution too. I can't just go and beat up on district attorneys and say, hey, it's your fault. My plan is to offer attorneys and capabilities to the district attorney's office so they can then turn around and prosecute these cases. Because we have a challenge, Georgia. I am determined that we're going to make it, we're going to come off the top 10 in Georgia, in the United States when it comes to insurance fraud, because it's costing all of us too much money.
Okay, and my last point, I know these tornadoes and hurricanes that we had, you had claims of all those been taken care of.
We still have some residual claims pending, and I will tell you that the challenge with those, and what our investigation has shown,
Okay.
is that because Georgia was hit by such a wide area, and South Carolina and North Carolina were hit worse, wasn't the claims, is the ability of contractors to do the work, because the contractors went to other states because the severity of the storms in those states created more opportunities. And so I'm telling insurance companies, you can't close a claim because the claimant hasn't been able to find a contractor. And so we're working through each one of them. And I will tell you, I am not going to have these conversations with insurance companies too much longer if they haven't satisfied these claims. We're going to start turning into fines.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to expand on that.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
the opportunity.
Yeah, appreciate your time. Thank you. Next up, Department of Labor.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is a pleasure to be here with you today, Chairman Dixon and other members of this committee. I'm Labor Commissioner Barbara Rivera-Holmes, and I'm joined by my Chief of Staff, Jansen Head, and other members of our team, which are in the audience. We really are honored to be here today and grateful for the opportunity to discuss the funded recommending for the Georgia Department of Labor for amended fiscal year 2026. On behalf of our entire team, I thank you for your partnership and for the state funding you have entrusted to our agency. Your support allows us to deliver mission-critical services to the Georgians who need them most. And that investment is powering the largest unemployment insurance modernization in state history, because government should meet the urgency of the people it serves. As part of our agency-wide transformation, we are replacing a system from the 1980s with technology that will help Georgians faster, enhance fraud detection and prevention, and eliminate technical bottlenecks that have long impacted workers and employers alike. Migration to the new system will begin at the end of 2026. This morning, I will walk you through a brief overview of our agency services, our new strategic plan, the budget items for amended fiscal year 2026, and provide an update on the Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund. When people think of the Georgia Department of Labor, they often think first of unemployment insurance. And it is a critical part of our mission, but it's not the only piece of what we do. We serve individuals and employers at every stage through unemployment benefits, career centers located throughout the state, and labor market data that informs decisions from the local level to the state level. These services help connect people to opportunity and ensure Georgia remains a top state for talent and the #1 state for business. Together, these efforts reflect GDOL's role as both a workforce agency and a partner in Georgia's economic success. Since taking office, I have met with workers, employers, and community leaders across your districts. Their message is clear. A strong Georgia depends on a labor department that moves at the speed of business and drives measurable results. And the Georgia Department of Labor is rising to meet that challenge by evolving into an organization that is forward-thinking, future-focused, and resilient. That is why we recently launched our new comprehensive strategic plan, The Future of GDOL, a bold transformation. This plan is built on 4 pillars: customer-centric transformation, empowering talent and leadership, modernization and operational excellence, and strategic influence and partnerships. These pillars align directly with labor's budget priorities and reinforce legislative initiatives that expand opportunity, strengthen our workforce, and fuel Georgia's continued economic growth. To achieve the goals outlined in our strategic plan, the budget provides targeted funding to support our employees and key initiatives at a sum of $3.2 million for amended fiscal year 2026. Starting on page 31 of the Senate document for this subcommittee, lines 227.1, 228.1, and 229.1, there is a total increase of $1,563,078 to provide a one-time salary supplement of $2,000 for our full-time regular employees throughout the agency. The next item, on line 227.2, recommends an increase of $1,090,000 to replace aging laptops across the agency through the Georgia Technology Authority's end-user computing services. The agency's outdated inventory of laptops and hardware is impeding daily operations. Most of the agency's laptops were purchased at the onset of the pandemic and have now surpassed the recommended 3 to 5 year life cycle, resulting in rising hardware failures and increased downtime. This funding will allow GTA to replace and maintain laptops, ensuring they remain modern, reliable, and effective in the years ahead. Line 227.3 is an increase of $611,691 to cover rent for the Athens and Thomasville Career Centers while we work with the State Properties Commission to fill recently vacated space. The Athens and Thomasville Career Centers operate under bonded leases, requiring GDOL to remain until the bond obligations are fully satisfied. These centers co-host partners with operating costs shared among them. When a partner departs, GDOL's share of cost increases until the vacated space is reoccupied. The recommended funds will enable GDOL to manage these additional expenses while working with state properties to secure new partners to assume the space. On lines 227.4 and 229.2, there is a total reduction of $26,655 for statewide adjustments related to a lower employer contribution rate for the state health benefit plan within our administration and unemployment insurance programs. Lastly, on page 19 of the Senate document, on line 49.3, there is $705,000 recommended by the House under Department of Administrative Services, specifically payments to the Georgia Technology Authority. The House addition of $705,000 to the Technology Empowerment Fund will help implement call center technology enhancements within the Georgia Department of Labor. This investment is essential to modernize all call center technology, which has contributed to a call abandonment rate exceeding 30%. It will enable GDOL to write calls correctly the first time, reduce wait times, use real-time performance metrics to identify and fix service gaps, and deliver faster, more reliable service while improving the overall experience for Georgians and the employers who depend on us. And while these investments are essential to preserving our work-ready infrastructure, it's equally critical to ensure the financial foundation of Georgia's unemployment insurance system remains strong. Georgia's Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund was depleted during the pandemic in September of 2020. As of December 2025, Georgia's Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund balance stands at $1.98 billion, which is $1.5 billion below the U.S. Department of Labor's calculated solvency threshold of $3.48 billion. Multiple factors continue to impact solvency, and GDOL remains committed to working closely with the Governor's Office and the Georgia General Assembly to develop responsive and long-term solutions. These efforts will focus on strengthening the trust fund's stability, ensuring its capacity to support Georgia's workforce, and promoting a healthier unemployment insurance system for the future. In addition to safeguarding the trust fund's long-term solvency, GDOL continues to strengthen its fiscal stewardship through consistent revenue collections deposited with the state treasury. For fiscal year 2026, GDOL sent $17,354,194 to the state treasury, including administrative assessments, penalties, and interest, an increase of $678,481, or 4%, compared to the same period in fiscal year 2025. Thank you for your time and for the opportunity to be here today. Your partnership and leadership are essential to keeping Georgia the #1 state for business and the best place to work and live. I look forward to working with you throughout this legislative session to deliver real results for the people of Georgia. This is a new era for the Georgia Department of Labor, and we're proud to move forward with you. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
Just a quick comment. A lot of us lived through that COVID time, and that was a miserable department to deal with. And we really appreciate the business approach you've had in building the trust fund up, and hopefully we'll continue to see it grow and not have something else happen, but I'm glad you're there if it does.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions?
Thank you. I
Great
appreciate your
presentation.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Department of Revenue. Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Chairman Dixon and members of the committee. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you regarding the governor's recommendations and the House's changes for amended 26 for the Department of Revenue. My name is Frank O'Connell, and I've had the privilege of serving as your State Revenue Commissioner since early 2023. And today I'm joined by Keisha Beavers, our Chief Financial Officer, Ananias Williams, our Chief Information Officer. Boston Gibbons is here today. He's my Chief of Staff. And as I transition to the Georgia Tax Court, I'm also joined today by David Burge, our incoming State Revenue Commissioner, who will take over as Commissioner next week. David joins us after a career as a private attorney, real estate attorney. He and I began our careers together 40 years ago at a firm. Didn't know each other well and didn't realize that we'd intersect 40 years later. But he's very bright. He's smarter than I am. And he's going to be ready to partner with each of you, and we'll do an excellent job. Now, turning to the department's budget, the amended 26 items are on the in section 42 of the tracking sheet, beginning on page 33. And I'll begin with the department's core tax and motor vehicle system. On page 37, at line 305.2, the governor and the House recommend $6.5 million for the driver record and integrated vehicle enterprise system, or drives. And then moving to the bottom of page 38, at line 307.2, under tax compliance, the governor and the House also recommend $12.5 million for the integrated tax system, or ITS. Now, these funds would support our Core 26 upgrade for both systems, and that's critical to make sure that they remain secure, reliable, and compatible with the latest and modern technology. I'll note that we had the opportunity to, but didn't do the Core 21 upgrade a few years ago. Didn't feel like it was necessary at the time, so we have skipped one upgrade. We believe that it's important to do the Core 26 upgrade. It would modernize the architecture and the programming language of the system, moving from VB.NET to C#, and will strengthen the cybersecurity protections for sensitive both taxpayer and driver data. The way that will operate, and speaking with my CIO, the critical information will be in the vault and encrypted. The system will use the numbers, but the operating at the processing level will be encrypted. Obviously, it'll translate to the vault. If someone breaches our system and is able to access data, then the idea is that they'll get encrypted data that they can't do anything with. Also, the Core 26 upgrade should improve login and access controls. As we all know, we used to be vulnerable to hackers, and now it's really phishing, and it's people inside who have credentials, and that's where the real concern is. It'll expand our online self-service options. I'll note, for example, last year we went to what we call MyMVD, and that gives drivers an opportunity to do things online that they may have had to go to their local tag office before, such as getting a replacement title. And our local partners were very pleased with that. It'll also help us with enhanced reporting and analytics. And I want to say Core 26 sounds new. You don't always want to be the first ones to try something new. But I asked my CIO for data. About 35 other states have the same vendor, so they're obviously the Microsoft of the state tax administration system field. And there are 6 other states that have already embarked on upgrading Core 26, states as large as Pennsylvania and states as close as Alabama. Now, You always want to have some context for a decision like that. We're requesting $19 million. We worked with a vendor called North Highland, a consultant in the technology field, to find out what it would cost to replace our system with whatever products might be out there. And that estimate was $100 million to $300 million to change to a new vendor. So obviously, we believe that this is the most cost-effective approach to sustaining and improving our operations. Now, moving on from our system changes, I want to express my strong support for the $2,000 state employee pay supplement, and also the enhanced retirement benefit for post-certified law enforcement officers. This is reflected on our budgets, and I want to say, too, the raises provided by the Governor and the General Assembly in recent years have been well received by our employees and have definitely helped with our retention efforts. Likewise, the enhanced retirement benefit for post-certified officers is going to be very important as we recruit and retain our approximately 65 sworn police officers. Finally, I'd like to address the undesignated surplus measures on pages 41 and 40. Now, the governor's budget recommendation recommended $1.17 billion in prior year undesignated surplus funds to provide a fourth round of surplus tax refunds. This is reflected on line 309.2. And then on line 502.1, the House instead supported using $850 million in undesignated surplus funds for homeowner tax relief grants. As Commissioner and previously Deputy Commissioner, I've been very proud of the work that our teams have done to implement these three surplus tax refunds and one prior round of homeowner tax relief grants. In 2022, when the Governor and General Assembly made us, Georgia, the first state in our region to issue refunds out of the state surplus to taxpayers, we were able to accomplish the system programming in just a few short months. And I was proud when other governors and legislators took note of the action that you guys took, and we got calls from revenue departments across the country looking to replicate the success we had. During last year's third round of surplus tax refunds, the refunds we sent out were connected to 3.4 million tax returns. Now, in 2023, the Governor and General Assembly provided Georgians with the first round of homeowner tax relief grants in about 20 years, and these grants reduced the assessed value of a home by $18,000. And the savings in each one of those cases was the local millage rate multiplied times that $18,000 reduction. Now, we know that the choice between a surplus tax refund and the property tax relief grants is a policy call for the Governor and the General Assembly. And as I end my time as Commissioner here, I have complete confidence in our executive team and frontline staff that we can fully implement whatever choice you make. I appreciate your time and consideration here today and your partnership during my time as Revenue Commissioner, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for all your work, Frank. Actually, I wanted to make a comment earlier when I was talking about the tax tribunal. I was mixing it up with the business court. So it's too early in the morning, I guess, so on those comments. But I do appreciate, your work in this department. You're working with the Finance Committee and Austin and Chester and Joe and all those people that respond to us when we need help, and getting these payments out smoothly to our citizens. So I've enjoyed working with you here. I hope I don't see you in the tax tribunal court, but I wish you well over there.
Thank you, sir. And please come by and visit.
Okay.
If I turn my mic on. Any further comments or questions from the committee? Thank you for your service to the state, and great job. You will be missed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you, members of the committee.
Thank you. Secretary of State. Telling me. I tossed my pen somewhere. Oh, you did? Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is. I found it. Never mind. Okay, I got it.
Good morning, Chairman Dixon and members of the committee. I'm Matt Ticer. I'm the Deputy Secretary of State. Since this is my first time appearing before you, I've prepared a short hour and 45-minute presentation.
Thank you for bringing levity to this meeting. I appreciate that.
Yes, please. So, what I thought I would do is simply focus on the one section that has a change to it, and you'll find that beginning on section 43, page 41 of the budget booklet. Our proposals are focused on improving service, securing elections, protecting consumers, supporting licensed professionals, and ensuring that the agency operates efficiently and responsibly. While all of our divisions include the governor's recommendations for the salary adjustments and other changes, I'm going to limit my remarks to the only change that's substantive in there. And we appreciate, most of our employees I know appreciate the $2,000. We have some employees who make very little money, and that $2,000 is a big benefit to them. The Elections Division is responsible for administrating Georgia's election laws and supporting voters, candidates, local governments statewide. On page 42, the budget includes two key investments for funding human-readable text ballot scanning technologies to comply with Senate Bill 189. And that would provide a double-blind count of 100% of all ballots, and also included is a $5 million recommendation from the governor's office to reimburse the counties for a full hand count of 2 statewide elections. This is the recommendation that's in the governor's budget and included in his budget. That first item is $1.8 million and is what we're using to count the human-readable text from the scanned documents. We've been doing this for several elections now, including the recent PSC election, where about 1.65 million ballots were counted. They were counted both ways, and the difference was 2 ballots. We were able to actually go as far down as the precinct, all the way to the specific scanner, find the 2 individual ballots, and find what was at issue with them, and have that fixed. So that process, I think, works very well. And the addition of the governor's reimbursements to the counties to do those 2 statewide hand counts would be, I think, a very good addition. Those are the only additions to our mid-year budget. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Any questions or comments from the committee?
Thank you all. Much shorter than the hour and 45 minutes that I.
Yeah, you're very efficient, I tell you.
Thank you,
I did ask one question on the scanning. Would it take place before or after the election being certified?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our thought would be that it would be potentially after the counties, but before the state. And we would need some help from the legislature to change a few of those deadlines and laws.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
We got Georgia access to medical cannabis.
morning, Chairman.
Good morning.
Members, thank you for the opportunity to present and come before you today. I'm Andrew Turnage. I serve as the state's cannabis regulator and the executive director for the Georgia Access to Medical Cannabis Commission. I'd like to really start out our presentation to say it's super brief. It will not take an hour and 45 minutes. But I want to express appreciation for your staff with the Senate Director Churchwell, Sam Byers, along with their counterparts in the Office of Planning and Budget, as well as the House Budget Research Office, have really done a tremendous job investing their time and their attention to come and study what we do and look at our operations this year. I really appreciate that. We really think that's a benefit to the staff to see the work that we do at the Commission on the ground. And some of that work is really critical to the nature of the Commission and the people that we serve. The Commission is responsible for serving as the regulator for production facilities that grow marijuana. In our state, we refer to that as medical cannabis. That is limited and very highly controlled and regulated access only for patients who are certified by their physician for 17 qualifying conditions. So patients that purchase products that the Commission regulates that are manufactured by the facilities that we regulate, that's the growth, the cultivation, the extraction or production, the transportation, as well as the dispensing at dispensaries to those qualified patients is the very important work that we do at the Commission. So we appreciate the support from this committee and from this body to allow us to continue for amended 26 and as we look forward to 27. Mr. Chair, I'll just be super brief. Our agency's budget begins on page 46 of 50 in this committee's tracking document. And the two lines that you see there are consistent with the other statewide adjustments. We really appreciate the salary increase from Governor Kemp, along with the support from both the House and Senate in considering the $2,000 salary increase. As previous speakers have expressed, this is crucial and important for many of our staff, both frontline as well as who serve in management and director roles. Inflation is real, and we have great qualified talent. We want to keep that qualified talent, and that's a tremendous help for our small agency and our budget. Additionally, and you can see those items in 317.1 on the salary increase. Following that is 317.2, and that is the insurance reduction that's consistent for all state agencies. That's everything for our commission, and we appreciate the consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you again for your time.
Has the rescheduling federally of marijuana, has that affected your agency as far as operations or the licenses?
Yeah, I appreciate the question, Mr. Chairman. What I decided to do as executive director is I decided to skip shaving every day that the federal government has not taken action to reschedule, and you can kind of see how that process is going for us. We look forward to a movement by the federal government on rescheduling cannabis. Currently, the recommendation proposal that you can see from the president is a strong recommendation to change the scheduling from Schedule 1, where it's currently at. Those are highly addictive drugs that have no medical value, to Schedule 3. And Schedule 3 will actually provide what we think will be some opportunity for an undeveloped area of our program. The HOPE Act, which is our authorizing act from 2019, provides our designated universities, that's the University of Georgia and Fort Valley State University, the opportunity to engage in production research in this field. And we really think that that's a tremendous opportunity to provide data here in the United States and right here in Georgia to support what we see anecdotally, clinically, feedback from patients who get access and relief through our program to medical cannabis products. But we need that research. The schedule change from 1 to 3, we believe, will provide that opportunity without the threat of designated higher education universities potentially losing their federal funding because of the nature of the scheduled substance. So that's one major improvement that we think the rescheduling will afford as it relates to the work that we do here. I don't know that it will have a direct impact on what we do at the Commission already. The schedule change won't make a huge difference in the operations that we see each and every day with our 6 licensed production facilities and currently 19 open dispensaries. In that, most states like Georgia rely on authorizing state law to operate their medical cannabis programs. Georgia became the 37th state to regulate cannabis but 6 years ago, and currently we're at 6, I believe we're at 46 states that regulate cannabis nationally. We are one of 5 that have a medical program. There are some legislative movements that are responsive to patient feedback. The commission has certainly served as a conduit. We appreciate the trust and the feedback that patients who are card holders and potential card holders in our state coming to us, state government. We try to be accessible and responsive to the requests that people who have these conditions and needs that could potentially benefit from controlled access, again, under the supervision of their physician. But we really look forward to working with the General Assembly through the process on legislation that's under consideration, and I think that holds the greatest benefit for improving our program.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions?
We are just down the street at 254 Washington. That's the old law building. The outside facade says state offices, but we're just 1 block south of the state capitol where we are today.
Can you answer my question about how many dispensaries and how many?
Yes, ma'am. 19 currently opened dispensaries, and the number of dispensaries is set in the HOPE Act as far as the number that we're authorized to issue. And that's based on 5 initial, so each of our 6 production licensees is authorized to open 5 initial dispensing licenses in a time frame that they see fit. And once the registry increases 10,000 patients more than the current registry number, which is a little below 35,000, they'll actually be able to pursue a 7th dispensing license each if they choose to do so.
So you mentioned the cards, the medical cards. I'm learning about this because I sit on regulated industries. I serve on.
Thank you for your service there.
The health departments are, I have a question, I guess this is my question. Are the health departments, is there an office within your agency that works directly with health departments, or is that something that you do as the director?
Appreciate the question. Currently in state law, the registry for patients is managed by our counterpart agency, the Georgia Department of Public Health. So they are the registrar, and they handle all of the card and registry components of this program.
And they just give you a report, or?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again for the question. We do request data. We request that the DPH sends us a weekly update on the number of registered patients, caregivers, as well as the number of physicians that are in that registry to provide access for patients.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your time.
Last but not least, State Elections Board.
Oh, man.
Ah.
Still at breakfast.
Well, I guess we're going to get to adjourn a few minutes early. Thank you all for attending the meeting. We are adjourned.